So I was recording our session today and it cut off. So here we are starting back again. But you were talking to me about how he was getting verbally aggressive with you, and then before it cut off, you were telling me about how he was taking you through the field sobriety tests.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Correct.
so tell me about those field sobriety tests.
Well, before the test, he asked me why I had open alcohol in the car, and I was like, "Oh, I don't." I didn't realize what I had put in my car.
Yeah.
That was a pretty rough
Trying to
morning.
do well by the planet,
Yeah,
and it.
yeah, exactly. And so that's when he held up that bottle of wine that had a little bit in the bottom. I guess it looked
Yeah.
completely empty to me.
There's like a
And
quarter of an inch in it.
okay. Uh, So he printed out a couple tickets and took the handcuffs off me, and then he asked me to complete some tests. I didn't even know what he was talking about at the time. It turns out it was field sobriety tests, and so I walked in a line, stand on one leg, all that good stuff, shine light in my eyes, and then, blew into a machine breathalyzer. And
Did
I
you
mean,
blow 0 or would you blow? Do you remember?
I mean, he didn't really say. He just very quickly after he took handed me the tickets and my car keys and said I was good to go.
So he just didn't
So I'm
explain
assuming
anything.
no. Um,
So he just didn't explain whether you
no,
passed or
he
not.
didn't. Yeah.
I mean, obviously he wouldn't let you go if you didn't pass, but
Right. So I mean, I'm assuming no. Very vague. So that's when after that, that's kind of when obviously it was wrapped up, and
did
I called my friends, and they met me at McDonald's and took me back to my apartment. And
uh, so sorry, I heard the stray cat outside. Um, did you did so he pulled you over for speeding?
I
Something
don't
like
know.
that.
I
He
don't
never
know.
told you why he
No,
pulled
I
you.
that's one thing I have absolutely no idea why he pulled me over.
Okay, and did you notice any people like watching? Like, I know people are super curious and.
I was so terrified. I mean, I was on a different planet at the time
Okay.
in my eyes.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd ever been that terrified before, having a gun pointed in my face just out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought I was dead.
I know you mentioned that you were having a hard time remembering before, but like especially after. Do you think that cognitively, like the memory difficulties are coming from the trauma from the stop?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I wouldn't have been scared shitless by this whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
I would have a lot better explanation. But I mean, I do remember what I've told you is solid facts. I mean, I'm not making anything up. That's all that happened, but a lot of details, finer details, I just don't
Those are
remember.
hard to recall
Sure, and
anyway,
yeah,
but I'm not negating your feelings. I'm just saying don't get too worked up about that factor. I would like to talk to the witnesses at the McDonald's place because I know you said that you're going through the drive-through. I'm sure that they
oh yeah, that
heard
would be a good
something and.
place to start. Another thing I want to mention, about this all kind of stemmed from the grades that I got in school, and uh, grades are a big thing to me and my parents, and I really don't want my parents to find out about this because if they do, then they're going to stop helping me financially with school, and that's not okay to me. I mean, that's going to really change things
Okay.
for me. It's just not good. Um,
While you're concerned
I
about
mean,
that,
I can't get, yeah.
I just want to let you know that our firm does provide free counsel to students
Okay.
like that are
Do you
otherwise
think that's
like
something
in
that
a
would
sit.
help me out?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think that we'd waive the retainer fee and like
But
waive the hourly
um,
rate. And
Okay. How does that work with school? Because you said it's through school, the counseling.
no, the counseling's like that we would provide
Oh,
for
I'm sorry.
you.
I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
Okay. Because I don't want to get kicked out of school for something like this
Yeah,
either.
no.
That'd be
We'd have to look into
bad.
your school's policy and everything on it and see if there's any mandatory reporting. But I will say that with you being a legal adult, um, you're of drinking age, obviously, and
Mm-hmm.
your parents,
25. Yeah.
yeah, it would hang on your conscience not telling your parents. But on the flip side, we
Doesn't
can
bother
work.
me.
Okay,
They don't gotta know.
That's fine. We can work and try and resolve the issues because if he's not telling you like why he stopped you, I need to get more information before I really give you like some legal advice on it. But it sounds
Sure.
like you've got a pretty good case.
Do you think that I could still get charged with a DUI with something like this? I don't really. I mean, it was just because he was so vague with it. I don't really know.
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I don't think so. I think they'd have to charge you on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to fully speculate. I would like to give you a solid answer
Okay.
and do some research and talk to partners. But that being said, logically thinking about it, why wouldn't he do that if he
So here's
was
another
gonna do
little
that?
tidbit I want to tell you.
Okay.
Not saying I was still drunk, but it was definitely concerning because, I felt like I slurred my speech a little bit when I was talking to him. And I mean, I definitely smelled alcohol on myself. Uh, that being said, I don't know if I was over the legal limit, but I definitely think I still had alcohol in my system.
So you do think you were still drunk?
I mean,
or was
possibly,
it possibly adrenaline and
I
stress?
I do actually think I was still drunk, yeah.
Okay.
But that doesn't make sense to me why he would just let me go if I wasn't.
Especially after the field sobriety test, it doesn't make sense to me either. That's definitely going to be something we need to investigate. I would like to see more than just the tickets. I want to try and get the police reports and see what he had to say about the incident. I'd like to talk to witnesses and go over all of that. So basically, I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of your story. I'm going to kind of just briefly rehash it with you, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong on anything. But gone out the night before drinking, upset about the grades and everything. Next morning, you picked up the trash, take to recycling, put it in the back seat, and then we're going through the McDonald's drive-thru, unmarked car behind you, and he's got a gun pointed at you, and you pull off to the side, you go through, he searches your car, he tells you you're under arrest, puts you in handcuffs, then he searches your car, and then puts you through field sobriety tests after finding open containers in your car. Doesn't give you much information about why he stopped you, what you're under arrest for, and then has you do the field sobriety test. You think you're still drunk, but you're not sure. You could still smell alcohol on yourself, but it also could have been the stress of having the gun pointed at you.
Correct.
And then he just didn't say much, handed you these tickets for eluding, I think.
Eluding and legal transportation of alcohol.
Okay. So then after that, now you're just left kind of confused dealing with these tickets and the repercussions from school and your parents. And I guess when we're going over the relief you would like for these tickets to be removed from your record.
Yeah, for sure. And I kept confidential, and I would rather not. I'd rather not my parents not know about this.
For sure. One thing I want you to do, I want you to send me your friends' names and contact info. I'll give you my card, and you can send it to me, and then I'll reach out to the McDonald's to see if we can talk to whoever's working on shift and list them all as witnesses and stuff. And I'll also reach out to the police department, get the police report, speak with that officer. And for your next step, I already went over the fees with you. Advice wise, I'm gonna have to do some research. I'll have you sign in. Well, I'll give you an informed consent form, and if you'd like to sign it and give your consent, I'll talk with the partners in the firm about it. But past that, everything's gonna stay confidential within us. So I don't want you to be concerned. I'm not gonna reach out to your parents. I'm not gonna reach out necessarily to your school, but I would like for you to get me your school handbook and send that to me so I can look over the policies in it regarding incidences like these. Perfect.
Anything to help.
So friends' names, school policy, if you send that to me, and I will go through getting I need your informed consent to speak to all these witnesses. So we'll handle the forms for that. It'll be your friends that already know about it, and the police officer. I won't speak with the school unless I have to. And then from that, we'll go over the informed consent for that. For setting up the next meeting, I want to remind you, since you're a student, our firm's doing a special where we'll waive the retainer and the hourly rate. But past that, setting up your next meeting, you can speak with my secretary on the way out, and you can set it up. Feel free to call me, email me at any time with any questions or concerns. And is there anything else that you feel we didn't cover?
I think we went over it pretty well. I don't really have a whole lot more to input.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure meeting with you today. If you think of anything else, don't hesitate.
Thank you, Miss Mouchon. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. And I look forward to seeing you again. Hopefully, we'll get everything cleared up.
Get down to the bottom of this. Yeah.
For sure. Well, thank you.